All right, Adam, look, stay with us because joining us for a first on CNBC interview is Iwan Azis, head of the Office of Regional Economic Integration at the Asian Development Bank. He's in Singapore to speak at the Global Entropolis Singapore 2011 conference and joins us now live from Singapore. Iwan, great to have you with us today. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Of course, Adam's just taken us through the situation over in Thailand. It does seem fairly dire. There are concerns that it could well get worse. Just how concerned are you about economic growth in Thailand? Do you believe that the BOT may well downgrade its economic forecast tomorrow?
Well, I'm concerned. Aside from what happened in Thailand, the natural disaster, what happened in the global economy already raised my concern in terms of the impact on Asia. Because unlike in 2008 Great Recession, this time it's not just the US but also Europe. So the impact in Asia is just about to happen.
Iwan, given that, how do you think the policymakers out here in Asia, including, of course, the Thai officials, given this latest disaster, are going to handle this crisis and the bleak economic outlook that you've just been painting to us?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question because too many people always look at straight what is the impact of the global crisis on Asia. But the right answer is precisely what you asked. It depends on how the policymaker respond, because the outcome is really not so much depends on how severe is the global crisis, but how right is the policy that will be taken by policymakers in the region. On the monetary side, I really hope, at the very least, they are maintaining the current rate. But I hope even more that they will reduce the interest rate, because this is the time that they have to stimulate the economy. And the same thing with the fiscal side.
Yeah, well, that's my next question. Do you think that the governments will be inspired to take a little bit more action on the fiscal side, given the outlook that you are painting here?
Well, of course, each countries are different, because some has more policy space, more fiscal space, others have less. So at the end of the day, it's really a combination of policies. I don't think we can pinpoint just one single monetary policy or one single fiscal policy. The point here is that the direction of the policy has definitely have to change from even just 7 months ago, when, you know, most of these countries are worried with the inflationary pressure of the commodity price increase. Things have changed very rapidly.
You know, Iwan, it's really interesting when we look at the differences that we have in some of these Asian economies, and I noticed that in your latest report you cut your 2011 and 2012 growth forecasts for developing Asia largely on the back of the macro situation, i.e. the US and Europe. In your view, for our investors out there, for the traders out there, which overall economy do you believe right now is best placed to deal with this ongoing weak situation overseas?
Well, you know, there are two lines of transmission mechanisms if we are looking at the impact of the global economic crisis on Asian economy. One is through the financial channel, and the second is through the trade channel. So basically, the winners will be those countries who are not so much dependent on the export. You know, if their export over GDP is less than 30%, I think they're doing relatively okay. But those countries who has a large share of export in their GDP, I think they will be hit, and very hard. And as I said earlier, you know, in 2008 it was just the US, but now Europe is also in trouble. And if we look at what happened within the region in Asia, the economic interactions and integrations has increased in the last couple of years. Meaning what? Meaning basically there is no country that can spare this. So even those who are not really export dependent, eventually they will be also hit.
Okay, I think some really important comments there. Iwan, really good of you to join us today. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.